I want to talk to you about 2018. I would consider 2018 to be my golden year of reading. Just like 2014, go 4 years back, you do the math, and most of that for the winter, spring, and summer of that year of 2014 was great. Same goes for 2018. I was reading a lot. I had a lot of interest and a lot of drive to do that. And I did that 90% of the 85% of the time. Yeah, somewhere around there. Because I was just that into it. I was somebody else and I was going through a phase. And there were a couple of things that I think it is safe for me to say that I did not finish. No, I tasted. A couple of the things in that year I tasted. In that part of the year I tasted. Then we get to the summer, and there was another thing that I tasted. And I was doing something else. I was busy off doing something else. And I want to talk about that. It's really, really important to keep focused and keep interested. I will keep bouncing back to the idea that when you have something else interfering with that and taking your mind and your focus off of what you started, it is very, very difficult and almost impossible to balance those things out, to go back to what you started. It's so hard to balance them out that it doesn't always stay that way. Unless balloons are in Everlast, they deflate, the helium falls out, the balloon crashes to the ground. It's out of juice. You've lost your patience, you've lost your drive, and maybe a huge portion of the interest. Period. And that's only the beginning. Because when I started teaching at the high school here in town, you would not believe. I had my doubts, I had my skepticisms. There was things I didn't, but did want to do. And did, but didn't look forward to. When you feel like you want to do something, in this case read something, then the best time to do it is right in the moment. Problem is that it is better to stay focused, completely 100% focused on one thing, heart and mind, focused. Finish that, start with something else. And I really, really feel that it's important not to take what I'm teaching and what you're learning in school for granted. And I try my best to have an open mind about all that I can. However, when I started, when I got into it, I knew how things worked. They went on a plane, a dark, heavy, powerful plane. Very destructive. They went up in the air onto my balloon, and they bumped into it again and again and again until most of my helium went out of my balloon, and it was kind of barely hanging on, and it slowly just dropped, floated down to the ground. But the interesting thing is that once it landed gracefully. It didn't just crash and it wasn't destroyed. That's a metaphor, an analogy that I use when I talk about patience and drives and being, interested and focused on something. I use the metaphor analogy of the balloon in the air. And I probably said this before, but not all balloons can last forever, and that was certainly true. Because I was teaching English, and they required a little bit of a lot of a little bit. Of course, you had things to read for class, but also what they were having everybody do was pick anything. Anything that was their choice of reading, that they were interested and enjoyed reading. And do it every Friday. And be focused on that as well. Yeah, I really agree with it. That they should have the opportunities and the time to read what they're interested. Problem is, you have all the other classes going on, all of the other clubs and extracurricular activities, and you have what you're doing with English going on. And then that overshadows, that takes your focus and interest and attention away, because that's priorities. That is what's most important. And you don't really, you're not in the proper mindset because it carries you away. And it sucks you in to a whirlpool where you can't get up to the ocean landing ground. And I believe that it is a very incredibly minor form of brainwash. Being open-minded is a wonderful thing, and I am a very open-minded person. However, it is very, very hard to be that when things are too much and overwhelming. Might as well focus on what you want to be focused on, and, in that case, weed it how you would fully weed it. Think about it, enjoy it, appreciate it, understand and empathize with it, and treat what you're doing in class seriously, but not as seriously as what you want to be focused on. Only do it for the purpose of work, for the purpose of the accomplishments and the themes and the lessons and the literary concepts that you're looking for, not the entertainment value, not the interest and enjoyment value of it, but for the for what they're expecting, what you're supposed to be looking for, for the big ideas, profound passages. Skim through it and not sit down and actually read it. And I promise that will be good to go. And I really, really wish that there was more opportunity and time to and leisure to do all of that. And there probably is, but you know what? As I said before, try it. You might have this big idea. Oh, I'm just going to stick with this for the rest of my school years or something. You know what? I hate to break it to you, but that is just not the case. Just not the case. The helium out of your balloon will run out before you know it. So, I really would not try. Because then, with the requirements, might be stressed, might be behind on things, and have to really, really catch up. All of these things that are coming out of my mouth are what I disbelieve in. You should be able to structure your own learning especially when it comes to reading and getting things done. That you should have the time, the leisure, the freedom to sit down and enjoy it and get the most out of it. And you should choose what you're reading. That reading should be a fun, pleasureful, personal experience. Problem is that that's just not how it was. I was tasting after tasting after tasting and not really focused on reading. And eventually, I lost my drive and I lost my interest of doing that. Isn't that a shame? That those individuals over there, and only them, nobody else, not even myself, took their plane and hit my balloon and weakened my balloon and tried to really murder those thoughts and feelings as best as they could. So, it's better to skim through what you need and treat it like a burden in work and not be as open-minded about it as being open-minded about what you want to be focused on, what you want to enjoy. You'll have plenty of times and opportunities in life to go back and look at those things again. But the time and the place is not at the time and the place of being assigned something in class. And that is just the reality. It really should not be. And it really is so unfortunate. It's just too bad. It really is too bad. However, that is the vow that I'm going to be taking from this point forward. That I will not ever let them get in the way of what I choose to be focused on and take over and consume and have that thing happened last year and the year before last. Those days are over. Over.